Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. Today's video is so delicious. We're making 3 super tasty ground beef dinners. I was very happy with how all 3 of these meals turned out this week, and if you do make any of the recipes that I share in today's video or any other recipe that I share on my channel, I would love for you to show me and let me know how it turned out. It's always so fun to see you cooking the recipes that I've shared on my channel in your homes, but let's go ahead and get started with today's video and I'll show you how to make these 3 recipes. First up today, we're making these Sloppy Joe French bread pizzas. To begin, you'll want to just preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Into my skillet here, I'm just adding 1 pound of ground beef along with half of a yellow onion that I chopped up. I'm just going to break this up in here and let this cook fully all the way through. Once the ground beef is cooked and you've drained off any grease, go ahead and add in 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Stir this around and let this cook for about 30 seconds to a minute until you can smell the garlic nice and strong. Next, you'll add in 3/4 cup of ketchup, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then finally, you'll add just a couple shakes of salt and pepper. Get this all mixed together, break up that brown sugar, and I let this kind of simmer on my stove for a minute or two, just until it has thickened up and the ketchup is no longer liquidy. Now moving over to my baking sheet, I have added 1 loaf of French bread on here. You can get this really inexpensive at Walmart. This was only $1. I split it down the center and then cut it in half, and then I started adding my Sloppy Joe mixture onto the bread. I ended up deciding that I was only going to use half of this, so you do see me take some of my French bread away. If you are planning on using the whole entire loaf of French bread, I would double the Sloppy Joe mixture. Once you have the meat on there, go ahead and start adding on your cheese. Today I am just using some Colby Jack cheese. Spread the cheese all over the Sloppy Joe mixture, and then you're just going to top it with a little bit of parsley. These will be going in your oven to bake for right around 10 to 15 minutes. You just want to make sure the bread gets a little bit crispy and the cheese melts down. Here's what our plates looked like in the end. We had that French bread pizza there, along with some potato wedges. I honestly didn't even eat my potato wedges because this was so filling. And if you have more people in your family, you can definitely split this bread into smaller pieces to make it go further. This is such an easy and delicious dinner though. I definitely recommend trying this if you have not already. Next up, we're going to be making this rigatoni pasta, but with a twist. We're going to be adding in some Boursin cheese to this. To begin, I am just going to go ahead and start cooking up 1 pound of ground beef. I'm also adding in half of a yellow onion in there for some extra flavor. And I do want to remind you, because I do have people ask occasionally, if you do not like onion, then just skip the onion. You don't have to add it if you don't want to. We really love onion. I love the flavor of onion, so I do add it to a lot of my recipes. Once that ground beef is fully done cooking, go ahead and drain off any grease that you may have, and then add in about 1 to 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. I'm going to let this cook in here for about 30 seconds to a minute until I can smell the garlic nice and strong. For the seasonings, I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is optional, but you can also add in some red pepper flakes. I added in about a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Get all those seasonings combined and then add in 1 jar of your favorite pasta sauce. Next, you're going to want to add in 4 cups of beef broth and give this a really good stir to combine everything. Once combined, go ahead and add in 1 box of rigatoni pasta. Give this another good stir together. Try to make sure the pasta is all down in the liquid, and then you're going to let this come to a simmer and cook until all the liquid has disappeared and the pasta is tender. Once the pasta is cooked, go ahead and add in your Boursin cheese. It just comes in a little box just like this. You'll add the entire thing. To avoid breaking up the pasta, I just like to kind of put it in the middle, cover it with the pasta, and let it melt for a minute. Then I use my spoon and just fold the pasta and the Boursin cheese together. Here's what my plate looked like in the end. This pasta is so good. I love Boursin cheese. It's delicious. Adding it into something like this is so good. It brings so much flavor into this. On top, I just added some shaved Parmesan cheese along with a little bit of parsley. But overall, this meal was 10 out of 10. I would make it again and again and again. We both loved it and almost ate the entire pan this night. Next up, we're making a Crockpot hash brown taco casserole. To begin, you do need to cook the ground beef prior to adding it in the crock pot. So into my skillet, I'm adding in 1 pound of ground beef. Let this fully cook through and then drain any grease off if needed. Once it's cooked, I'm going to go ahead and add in about 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. You'll just let this cook in here for about 30 seconds to a minute until you can smell the garlic nice and strong. Now moving over to a large bowl, I'm adding in 1 bag of shredded hash browns. Then you'll add in 1.5 packages of taco seasoning. I don't have the packages, I just had this big container, but you'll need to use 1 packet and then half of a packet. 1 can of cheddar cheese soup, half a teaspoon of salt. Then you'll add in the ground beef that we cooked up, and 1 cup of shredded Mexican style cheese. Once you get this all mixed together, you're going to go ahead and take this over to your crock pot. Be sure to spray down your crock pot first with a little bit of nonstick spray. It's very important for this recipe because the hash browns will stick if you don't. Just make sure that you spread them out evenly on the bottom of the crock pot. And then you're just going to take the rest of your Mexican style cheese, this should be about 1 cup, and spread that over the top. This is going to cook on a low heat for about 2.5 to 3 hours. If it's not cooked enough for you at the 3-hour mark, just let it go another 30 minutes or so. But for me, it was done in about 2 hours and 45 minutes or so. Here's what my bowl looked like in the end. I just went ahead and scooped it into a bowl and added some sour cream and hot sauce over the top. This meal is perfect for summer because it doesn't take that long, so if you want to sleep in on your day off and then throw this crock pot meal together midday, you still have a nice easy dinner for the evening. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed these delicious recipes. Don't forget to leave me a flower down in the comments below if you did make it all the way to the end of today's video, and I will see you back here next Sunday for a new video. Bye!